So I came across this young lady's video crying on the camera, and I couldn't continue scrolling. I had to comment on the choices of this young lady. You guys have to see this.
So now I have to figure out how to do this, and I just been talking to the apartment owner, trying to figure out what we can do.
So I came across this video and I wanted to share it with you guys. It's actually kind of sad and it's kind of heartbreaking, even though I'm sure some of you think this kind of behavior is okay. I just wanted to show you some of the choices that people make that don't always end the way you think they're going to end.
So now I have to figure out how to do this, and I just been talking to the apartment owner, trying to figure out what we can do. I've never touched his card before, and he's making me feel like I'm an evil person because I found out that he was married and he had a daughter my age. So I guess in his heart, he thinks that the best thing to do is to get me kicked out and report me to Dallas PD because of this.
So just what I've been able to gather so far, it sounds like she was dating a guy and didn't know that he was married, according to what she said. I'm a firm believer that there's always some red flags, but that's neither here nor there. It sounds like he's accusing her of using his credit card, and he reported her to the Dallas police because he's trying to do whatever he can now that his wife has caught what he's doing.
His card information, he physically has given that to me in text messages. But I've never touched his card. He's paid my rent for the past 2 months. But anyways, after the Puerto Rico trip, we stopped talking to each other. And
How the heck are you able to be married and go to Puerto Rico? This guy must have a job where he travels and his wife is none the wiser. I mean, for me personally, there's no way in the world I could go to Puerto Rico without my wife even knowing about it. And I'm not, and I'm glad. I've learned the hard way that transparency is the best way to go. Transparency and honesty when it comes to marriage.
he's just been trying to make my life like hell. Because, again, me finding out he's married, his wife contacting me, sending me pictures of him coming at home after dropping me off in Dallas. So I don't know why he's doing this. It's just, again, I'm like, God will have my back. But it's like, I feel like the devil always wins when it comes.
So she's talking about how his wife has been sending her pictures. I don't understand women like this. Why does it not seem that she's more upset with her husband than taking time out to text and send photographs of this young lady right here? I get that she's mad. That's not the way to do it. Your foot should be broke off in this man's butt. I'm sorry to say it, for what he's doing and the choices that he's making. And she also made a comment about God. And the only little reprieve I will give her, there's a possibility that she had no idea this guy was married. A lot of men, even a lot of women, are good at hiding these situations. And if you're naive, and she looks very young, and you're naive, it's very easy to be taken advantage of. But I'm a firm believer that there are always red flags. Maybe she overlooked those red flags, and now she's in this situation.
Comes with me, when it comes to things with me, and it's like, I don't, it just doesn't make sense with me how I go through all these shitty things, I go through all these shitty men, and
But sadly, what she doesn't realize is, and again, I always have to come, if you guys have watched any of my videos, I always have to keep it 100, and I always have to come from a biblical perspective. Wasn't always a believer, but now that I have been for many years, the Bible is the truth, and that's the only way I can come. But what she doesn't realize, And I heard her mention God. I have no idea what kind of relationship she has with God. But here's what I want to say to this young lady if I was sitting in front of her talking to her. What she can't see, she's upset. I get it. He's paying her rent. Now she's not going to have a place to stay. He's taking care of her, doing all these things. She's thinking, it sounds like, that she had a good man, and now the truth has come out. And now she's devastated. But what she doesn't realize is, I heard a guy say, God's rejection is his protection. She can't see. She's so caught up in this crazy that she can't see that God is protecting her from something even worse, okay, by exposing it. I'm glad that God allowed it to happen, because I'm a firm believer that when you're really trying to live your life and follow the Lord and do things His way, God will honor that behavior, your obedience, and He will give you the desires of your heart. You know, and a lot of times God is trying to get something better to us, and we are involved in situations and we're doing things where it gets delayed. So I see this as a blessing, even though she can't right now.
And I tried texting him, trying to work things out, because I don't want this to be a reason that I get taken away from my daughter. And that.
Okay, she's clearly young, and I hate to say it, but dumb. Why in the world would you want to work this out when now you know not only is he married, but he has a daughter the same age as you? What is it you can't see that's wrong with that? Wake up, young lady. Open your eyes.
We don't have a place to stay just because he wants to be shitty and vindictive towards me. Yeah, that's what I'm going through right now. I'm going through a eviction because of him. About resolutions, I said, I'll give you back every gift you have given me. I'm talking to the owner about reversing the payment for the rent that you've been paying my rent for. But no, he says that he wants to proceed with Dallas PD, and he just wants to make my life like hell. This is why I don't like talking to men, or this is why I don't like being in a relationship. It's just, again, I don't know why the devil always wins when it comes with me. Shitty things like this always happen. But yeah, that's what I'm going through right now.
Well, it's clearly not the devil's fault. You made a choice. Now, granted, it may have been under a false guise of who he really was, and he has to own that. But like I said earlier, I truly believe there's always red flags that you can see. Now, whether you chose to ignore those red flags, only you and God know that. But you can't blame God. You can't blame the devil. And I get it right now. You're hurt. You're emotional. You're not really thinking straight. I mean, because I'll be honest with you, I still cannot understand, with all the social media that I have seen, why people get on social media platforms and they cry in the camera and they tell all their business to the world. I don't get it. So now all you've done is you've opened yourself up to people like me and other people that are going to see this video, and they're going to comment, they're going to critique it, and hopefully give you some godly advice to get you on the right track. But my advice to you, young lady, before I jump off here would be to, if you don't have a relationship with God, give your life to Christ. Get your eyes off yourself. Thank God for exposing this man for who he was, so you didn't continue going down this road. And ask him to give you the desires of your heart, because that's the type of God that we serve. And sit back and wait and be patient for him to deliver that right man, instead of sitting back and jumping into stuff, trying to do it on your own. That's the mistake that we always make. And there's many examples in the Bible of people getting ahead of God, and then we end up sometimes delaying what God has in store for us, or making it even worse than it should have been had we just waited. It's one of the hardest things that we struggle with, is the fruit of the Spirit, which is one of them, which is patience. So hit that like button. Also make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And I will check you guys on the next one. Later.